Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Will I Continue episode. I am your lovely co-host, HMG, and my lovely other co-host.
Lovely.
Lovely. Is that what you go by?
I'm
Is lovely
lovely.
now?
The lovely ginger bear.
Lovely
I'm
ginger bear.
changing my Twitch name today. Lovely ginger bear. Who
Dude.
wants sarcastic? Going to lovely.
Dude, I would be so down for that. I think that actually has a good sound to it.
Like
Lovely
it.
ginger bear. Or it's lovely sarcastic ginger bear.
I may have to start like dressing nicer or something though if I'm gonna be lovely.
Nice little tux, or polo at least.
Yeah. I'll get the tuxedo t-shirt. That
That's
probably
right.
works.
That's right. Looking for sophisticated and party all the time. Oh man, so what you been up to nowadays, man? It's been a long time since we got to go on this. So what you
It's
been
been a
up to?
minute, man. Like I got excited watching one of the old episodes and had to do it again. And and I know we'll get more into it later, but I think because I watched the English dubbed version of this anime, I feel like we may have had two different experiences. So this should be interesting. I'm excited to hear what you have to say
I am
about
too,
this.
man. Yeah, when we start that show with the Gurren Lagann, dude. Yeah, we were kind of talking pre-show. I'm curious as to what your reaction is versus mine. It's because we were talking. It seemed kind of different a little bit in a sense, like how they were naming the characters. Because you heard a lot of like, well, we'll get into it later, but yeah, it sounds different.
Yeah, like I don't know. We'll see. I know like so when it first opened, like the first episode, that music cued in and I was like, oh hell yeah. Like I was
Yeah,
headbanging to the
yeah.
theme song. It reminded me of Trigon, which we'll talk
Mhm.
about the reboot too. But yeah, man, like it got me into it like super hardcore. And then
Mhm.
the audio kicked in with the English dubs, and it was like, wait, this does not match. It doesn't feel like it's the same show.
I gotta listen to the dub, but yeah, we'll get into it later. But talking about that Trigon reboot, what do you think of it, man? Like, what do you? I want your. I so want to hear your reaction because you've watched the original one. So
Yeah, dude, Trigun is my. It may be the only anime that I've ever loved. I've watched
oh
I've
man,
watched a lot of animes that I liked, but Trigun like had my heart. I watched that so many times. And so when I heard about it, I was super excited. I watched the trailer.
hmm
If you haven't seen the trailer, go and watch it. It's intense, but like it seems so much more intense than the original than what I remember from the original, right? It's been a
really.
long time. I probably watched it when I was like 15, 16 years old. So I went back and rewatched the first episode though,
hmm
and I was like, wait, no, I'd loved it because it was intense. Like the show
hmm
is intense and it's just got like a little bit of the campy funny stuff,
Uh huh.
to keep it going, but like that show just right from the beginning is like holy crap. So I'm excited about the reboot, man. I love Trigon, I love Ash the Stampede, so I can't wait to see it. I think it's
What
going to be fun.
now? I don't know if you noticed enough if you pay attention. It got a lot of kickback on the animation style. What do you think of the animation style of how the direction it's gone?
I didn't even notice, to be honest
Really?
with you. Like I was so excited to see Vash back in action. I
Gotcha.
didn't even pay attention. I'm gonna have to
Really?
rewatch it.
Oh man.
Like
Yeah.
what did they do with it? What specifically was different
It's
about
just
it?
the design of it, man. Because I think it's just because the timer of how anime was drawn. Like the Vash SMP was, I think it was what mid 90s, I think, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was it
remember.
was early. It was
So
early, yeah.
so I kind of think they modernized the animation, which a lot of people haven't liked as much.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's
This
one of
must
the
be like
things.
an anime watcher thing.
Yeah.
Because like I always pride myself as the non-anime watcher who watches anime. And like I don't know, like I feel like that's like updated graphics on a video game, right?
Yeah.
Like of course I want Tiger Woods to look more like Tiger Woods. So I feel like now, they can make Vash look more like what they want Vash to look like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely gonna be interesting of what I don't know. I'm curious what direction they go, at least with the comedy wise and the
Yeah,
story.
yeah, because there was no comedy in the damn trailer at all. Like it
No.
was very much like this is gonna be a super serious story with no comic relief, which is weird because like the intro to the old one, even the intro was all kinds of like funny, buzzy, crazy stuff, and
hmm
but seeing the trailer didn't reflect that at all. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Oh yeah.
All right. So you mentioned I'm excited about Trigo, but you mentioned that there's another show coming out the same day.
Yeah. Well, there's actually a handful, man. Like I have a whole list. I didn't realize there was that many, but like, so many good animes are coming around. Like the 6th, January 6th, January 7th, January 7th, 8th. Um,
Is that like a normal thing for anime? Do they just
to,
always come out in January?
to be honest, there is a winter season. Like I'm kind of new to this side as well. I started, watching anime back heavily, like maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So I'm kind of getting used to like their seasons in anime, like when like shows come out, like certain shows or whatever. So right now we're in this is winter season 2023, I believe. So there's a handful of anime that Anime News Network kind of came out with the most anticipated winter 2023 that they are kind of, like I said, anticipating for the biggest shows. So one of the ones that kind of that it doesn't show it on this website, but one I am kind of excited about. It's don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro. It's kind of a cute anime where it's I want to say it's shoujo. It's like a rom-com in a sense, I guess shoujo, where basically it's about a second year school person. I forget how they go. The second year high school is kind of an art nerd. He kind of secludes himself from everybody, and then there's this first year girl who's kind of like high in the clique. Like she's kind of preppy in the kind of like high in popularity type.
Yeah.
And she wanders around looking for, I guess, something to do, I guess. And then she stumbles upon Senpai. So the guy has a name, but I don't think they ever mentioned this boy has a name. She calls him Senpai because he's the older classmate. He's her senpai, and she just stays in the art room where he stays all the time, doing artwork, and she bugs him, like she teases him sexually. She like kind of flirts with him. She kind of like at one point she's like, all right, yeah, you'll get a reward if you do something, It kind of teases him in that sense, At one point she like, okay, you close your eyes and you get your reward, and then she always teases him like she's gonna kiss him actually, right? So it's just one of those things. It's kind of like a flirtatious, It's not made for kids by any means, but it's kind of funny. It's plain hilarious, man. I only knew about this
new season. Like, what season is this?
Second season, January 7th. Yeah, okay. I definitely recommend, man. If you like kind of like those, it's kind of like fanboyish. Fanboyish mean like there's shows a little bit like teasing of girl stuff, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of weird talking about it a lot, but yeah. But if you kind of like that, like show some cleavage, or girls in like swimsuits or whatever, it's kind of like that.
Dude, this chick in the one that we just watched, my God.
Oh yeah,
just
dude.
Bursting out of this outfit, the
Yoko.
entire thing, and I'm like, there were moments where I'm just like, should I look away right now? Like, I feel like this poor girl, she's having to crawl through this tunnel, her ass is hanging out. Like, she didn't want this. She didn't decide that.
Total waifu, man. Total waifu material. But yeah, it's kind of like how this girl is, to be honest, man. Like, she's got the sports figure, but anyway, yeah, it's a funny anime, man. It's straight up funny and hilarious, and at the end, it has a great the very last episode. If anybody watched it, you need to watch the last episode and the last scene after the credits. You need to see it. I'm just telling you, you got to see it. So that's what I'm excited for, of course, and then I'm excited for Trigun.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little leery about the animation.
Are you one of the animation guys that's a little not sure about it?
Yeah, I am, to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm willing to keep an open mind about it.
Yeah,
but it's just something
it's weird. It's weird how different we watch these. Like, like there's so many people that are just hardcore into the animation style. Like you said, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
Right. Like I guess I don't know what it is. I guess it's all about story and just what's going on for me. But it's interesting to see how many different fans of the same thing will look at everything differently.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm not all about animation, but I mean the thing is the old animation style was so iconic in that era. It's part of what made Trigun in my opinion too. Yes, the story is fun. You know, a lot of sort of dry, sarcastic humor, a lot of craziness, wackiness too at the same time. You know, it's just sometimes when you watch stuff for so long, and then you see they change up or something like the different studios take over.
Yeah,
Like
it destroys that nostalgia kick that you had in your brain.
yeah,
It makes sense, man.
yeah. It's like also too like Attack of the Titan. There's two animation studios that took over. One did I think first and second season, and then the other one did the remaining. I think I can't, and I'm horrible at remembering the names, but there are two different animation studios that took over Attack of Titan, and you can tell there's a difference in animation style. But yeah, it's one of those things.
It makes me want to rewatch stuff and watch for the animation style. Just pay more attention to it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I don't know. I'm not a sucker for. I'm not like a huge critic of animation though. I just love animation. Period. Reason why I love watching anime. Right.
Yeah. I just thought about this when I watched Trigun before. Because when I say I watched a lot of Trigun, so I watched Trigun over and over and over again, and I was probably like from the ages of 13 to 18, I watched Trigun a lot.
Yeah.
Like I just rewatch it. Haven't seen it since. But back then, the only version I've ever watched is the dubbed version. And so that also makes me wonder, like, is it different if I watch the original audio on it?
It might change your perspective.
I want to go back and rewatch that. I want to try it out and just see if it's different.
Do it. You need that's one of your homework, man. Just do it. Just watch old, and then it might change your perspective. You pay attention to the animation. Maybe I don't know.
I think back then, like I preferred English dub, but now I prefer watching the original and just reading subtitles. So I don't know.
I'm with you. I used to watch a lot of dub. Here, just recently, like within a couple weeks, I've been watching more sub. Now I'm getting back to watching prefer sub. Before I was sub. I went sub, dub for a while, then back to sub because you get more of the dialogue. You get more of the original translation.
Right. Kind of off subject, but a little bit similar. Have you played what is the name of the freaking game? The Japanese game. You're a samurai. Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, it's something you've been streaming, right? Your work streaming.
Yeah, so playing that on the filtered version where it puts the old like black and white Western filter over it and the old Japanese style samurai movies. That was so cool to play that with the Japanese dialogue and subtitles. Like that was a really, really cool way to play that game.
Yeah, I remember watching you streaming as Sarcastic Ginger Bear on Twitch. Doing that, showing the plug-in. And I loved how you did change that photo mode. That's pretty sick, man. That's pretty awesome.
I'm the most non-streamer ever.
If you
stream, occasionally I go on spurts of streaming for 30 days in a row, but yeah.
Then dead radio silence for a couple months. Then you're back up and running.
I'm like an underground thing. You really have to catch it.
That's right. You don't speak about it. You just do it. Just watch them. The only thing. Another one, and not to kind of beat around this more. So another quick one I did notice that was coming to yourself. The Nier Automata version 1.1a. So Nier Automata is actually getting its own anime. Now I don't remember if it was anime before, but have you ever played the game Nier Automata?
No.
It's on Xbox, PlayStation. It's been around for a while. It
sounds familiar. Like I feel like I've seen like a cover. Yeah. Because like maybe it's in like the Game Pass or the PlayStation version of the Game Pass or whatever, and I've scrolled past it before. So I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I've never played it.
It's a fun game. I played that sounds like I say it's a fun game, but I played a few hours of it. Just because it's time, whatever, But the time that I played with it was a blast, man. It's a shooter basically. In a sense, with the close range attacks at the same time, and it turns from like a 2D to a 3D platform, kind of goes back and forth. It was pretty fun, man.
Sounds like something I would be interested in.
Yeah,
I really love platform games.
So that it gets its own anime. I was actually I didn't know anything about it until I was like, whoa, it's a game adaptation for an anime. That's pretty cool.
That would be interesting, yeah. Going from game to anime, but I'm assuming the game is more of an anime style game too.
Yeah, kind of basically. Yeah, basically, you need to check it out. And there's some crazy mods, man. Where they make the main character. I forget their name because I'm not really into the game, but they make these very sexual mods, man. It's crazy. Like I think she's in a maid's outfit, and then they make her. There's a way you can get into her bra and panties and stuff. Like, whoa, it's crazy. Some of the mods you can get to.
Remember all what was it? We used to play Mortal Kombat, and everyone would always be like, "We got to find the nudity code," and it didn't really exist. We just always talked about it.
Right.
And then you always had that one friend that's like, "Oh, I've seen it." And it's like, "No, you haven't. It doesn't exist." God, how far technology has come, man. Now you just go on Steam and go to the community and click on boobies, and then it's like, oh, here you go.
Boobies.
You can see anything you
just go over this real quick. So some of the this is my anime lists. Our most anticipated anime of winter 2023. They go in and talk about, looks like the Trigun Stampede, what we talked about. Tomo-chan is a girl. Oh, that sounds interesting. And then also Vinland Saga Season 2. And I'm going to post this here as some of y'all can just go and just kind of check it out. I'll put the link in the description. But it goes through Animes Network's version or their list of what they're most anticipated. And I didn't read through this. I think it's just what they put together, or maybe below. Oh, it's their editorial team's tentative top picks from the show slated to premiere in January. So, like I said, I'll put this link in the description so everybody can check it out. It's interesting. And actually, I think this is where I did get it from, was near Automata's Ver 1.1a. How I found out about it. But yeah, it's interesting for those who want to take a look at it. All right, so let's get on with Will I Continue? So today's episode of the meat and potatoes is Gurren. I don't know how to pronounce it. Gurren Lagann, I think. Gurren.
Yeah.
Gurren.
I think that's right. Gurren
Lagann. So, man, this anime. I chose it from, like, I was searching what's a good anime to watch, because I wanted you to, because you don't watch a whole lot of anime, right? So I wanted to find a good show to get you, hooked, or kind of get you interested, right, more into anime. So I was like, I looked at the Gurren Lagann, this looks pretty good. Then I saw the waifu, Yoko. I was like, okay, because something catching the eye a little bit, the sexiness. And then
it definitely had the eye candy going for it.
Man, it did, man. I was like, oh my god. I got a little kind of high pitches. I got a little excited.
Even like there was a scene where like some, like, I don't know, like refugees are like traveling back to their city, and it's like, oh dang, that peasant girl sitting on the edge there, she looks homely. She looks very nice. I'd like to have a conversation with her.
I know.
What is she doing?
I know.
Side story. Someone needs to create a spinoff about the peasant girl.
Dude, I wonder if they do. I mean, I think Yoko's such an interesting character that I think she could have her own. Right?
Like, she for real deserves one, right? Like, just like, because you get just this very little glimpse of backstory, and I'm sure they'll do more. We only watched 3 episodes, but
yeah.
I'm sure you'll get more of it later. But just hearing her, like, initially she comes in and she's like, "Oh, I'm from." She comes in from above, but then they find out that she was in a pit in a different place, so she was from below too. But then made her way to the surface, and like there's not really much else about it other than she fights these things, and it's like, okay, well, like, let's hear more. I bet there is a really good backstory there.
I know. Well, I really feel like the 3 characters, Simon, the little boy, and then Kamina, the older guy who's the troublemaker. It's kind of the older brother for Simon, and then Yoko. They all actually, like, with the 3 episodes we watched, each episode really helped with the backstory of each character, kind of unravel a little bit one by one, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they introduced Kamina, the dad. Dude, that, like, I almost shed a tear, man. I was like, holy crap.
It was crazy, but it was like, to me, it was like, it was slower than I'm used to for anime, I guess. Like, not necessarily for anything else I would watch, but for the anime that I've watched, it seemed a little slower on those backstories. Like, we could have got a lot of that into the first episode and then moved on into deeper stuff. But it did do a good job, though, like, of giving those backstories. It makes you want more, for sure.
Well, I think that's what they kind of did with, like, the first episode, where they did go in there and they introduce the characters, whatever, and kind of get a little backstory a tiny bit, and then they go into action at the very end, right? And then go in the second episode, they really lay down more action, I think, or something. But that's when you kind of get introduced into those. I don't even know. Was that a mecha? The first thing that fought that giant thing was that a mecha?
It was some kind of creature. I think that's what I thought. It looked like it looked. It reminded me of Cubone, the Pokemon, right? But it looked like kind of a bone creature almost.
Yeah.
Like with a club.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what Cubone looked like. I think I remember what he looked like. Like, well, yeah, like the bone skull, like dinosaur thing, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, I remember. So yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, especially I thought the weirdest thing whenever Simon discovered the what they call it, Lagann mecha, right? The little tiny Lagann. Right. It's like the little engine that could, man. It was like it was so tiny, it packed with so much power. It was crazy.
That's kind of how he is too. Like it was a good fit for him, you know, because he really looks up to the older guy, and then really, you know, is kind of insecure about himself for the first couple of episodes, and seems like he kind of jumps into it there at the end of the third episode. But you know, maybe I don't know if he's gonna regress or not. I guess we'll find out.
I guess so. The time about like regression, like I feel like out of all three characters with progression at least in their character, I feel like within the first 3 episodes we watched, Simon had the best progression going through just those 3 episodes, right? I think he was kind of timid, scared, you know, but he did it out of kind of remind me of like Gohan, if you want to go kind of like he was scared, but when he got mad or somebody got hurt, he got fierce, he got strong, he got pissed, then he got, you know, stronger, and then his whole mentality changed, right? Snapped.
I totally see that. And then like it makes me wonder like where the character arc's gonna go, right? Because the episodes are fairly short, right? What were they, like 18 minutes?
They were like 24 minutes. Well, yeah, each one about 18,
they were short.
18 minutes, and then 24 minutes, whatever.
Yeah. And then like it's like a 24 episode season, is that right? Like there were a lot of episodes.
I don't remember. I think you're right though. I think it's about 24.
I think it's a long one. It's definitely more than 10. Like I'm pretty sure it's a 24 episode thing, but it makes me wonder where that character arc is going to go, or if it will be like continual for the season, or is it going to like mix and match things to where you've got multiple storylines through the season?
I would hope so. I mean, I would like to see more progression on Simon to see if he really truly snaps out of that boyish. He's a boy, right? I mean, you gotta get it. He's a younger boy, probably his teens, I think, right? Early teens.
That's what I would guess, yeah.
But what he was acting is younger than that. Like if we could see when he got scared, I can't do it, I'm scared. And he kind of goes from his cocoon, right, in a sense, emotional cocoon, right? And I can't do it, I'm not doing it. He doesn't budge. He just kind of just shuts off. Then Kamina kind of is his person who just like who gets him revved up. His hype man, right? He hypes him up. He's such a good like older brother.
He's on like a lot of drugs to me.
Kamina,
right? Like he just seems disillusioned to the world, and he says things that are just outlandish. That you're like, what the hell is this dude talking about? Like I don't know what you mean. Like there was one part where they said something about, you know, getting to the surface was great, blah blah blah, and he was like, what are you talking about? The surface is just the beginning. We'll shoot, you know, through the stars, and it's like, what is this dude trying to do? Like, is he gonna found the space program in this anime? Like, what is the I don't know what the deal is, but I feel like whatever he says like is important, because every time he says some shit, it's right. Like it works. Everything's good. So I feel like he knows what he's talking about somewhat, but it's a mystery.
I'll be honest, man. The Kamina, he was not my favorite, man. At the first, like his first, second and a half episode, this dude got my nerves, man. Like you say, he's full of himself.
He's so full of himself, but it's not even like full of himself. It's just that he's just like kind of oblivious to the world, and he's like, you know, I know life's gonna go on, man. So let's just go. Let's do it.
Are you sure he's oblivious, or is he just so into himself, man? He's so like what's the word? Like I can't think of full of himself. He's so cocky and arrogant, man. It's like nothing's gonna touch me. Even when he's near death, he's like, I'm gonna be fine.
Put on.
Yeah.
But then like what was it? I think it was the third episode it was the second episode where he first says it, where he says, just believe in the me that believes in the you the same way that I believe in the you that believes in the me. Yeah. Right? So like he doesn't really believe in himself, but he's like, I believe in you, I believe in myself because you believe in me.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's depth to the character for sure.
Do you think Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that's rubbing off of Simon, the little scrawny guy, and he's kind of getting on his.
I couldn't tell if it was the phrase because the dude says it, and then it's Yo what's her name?
Yoko.
The chick.
Yoko.
Yoko. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking, and then I was like, wait, that's Paul or John Lennon's wife's name. That's
Yoko.
I
Yeah.
was getting confused.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so Yoko. Mm-hmm. So because he says it, Kamina says it to him like at least once before that, I think twice. Mm-hmm. And he's still kind of cowering and not doing his thing. But then when she says it, he's like, oh, okay, now I get it. I'm going to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think...
I couldn't tell if it was her necessarily or if it was his words coming from her. But I don't know. Maybe that's part of the team chemistry. That's what makes the three of them work so well together.
That's what's going to actually ask you, man. Is that do you think that Yoko is influencing him? One, yeah, he's very attracted to her. But then he kind of shuts her off, right? When she disses him. He's like, oh, whatever. Right. You know, almost like the very beginning when they first met, they're fighting that big dino creature, skull, cubone looking creature. She disses him. He's like, oh, whatever. And he's completely, just turned off by her, right? And then he's on doing his own thing.
That was also like before he really started getting infatuated with her.
That's true.
Because like at the beginning, like when they're crawling through the tunnel going out, and he's like move yourself, hurry up, get out of my way or whatever. And then when he sees that she's kind of badass and she can fight and all of this stuff, then he starts warming up to her. He's like, hey, you're my kind of chick.
Yeah, right. Oh man, yeah, it's so crazy how he changed, because when he started kind of mellowing out, that's when I started liking him a lot more. Then okay, he's a deeper person, especially whatever we find out about his dad. When they get to the surface, why not? It's just he kind of becomes more humble in a sense, or you kind of get a sense of why he acts the way he does, right? So that's when I kind of reason why I started liking him a lot more toward the end. Dude, what did you think of those mechas, man? Like,
dude, they're awesome, man.
Hell yeah, they were.
All of the action in the whole show, man, is just badass. Like that is the one thing that I absolutely would just rate a 10. Yeah. All of the fights, all of the action is awesome.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I told you before, man, it's like. The whole thing reminded me of like Power Rangers and how they kind of just how Simon gets Lagann first, and then of course Simon gets his Gurenn, and then they transform. Like it's just crazy. Right. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's like
it's intense. It's super intense, and then like I love it kind of like tickled the old fight scene style where like. Mm-hmm. The fight scene, it seems like it's over, and then no, the monster's coming back for one last swipe or whatever. Like there's always something in there that throws you off a little bit on the fight scene.
I know. And then for everybody watching the video, I'm sure the Lagann. I was going to show the Gurenn. They're pretty sick. I'll be honest. I like the Lagann more just because it's tinier yet more. It seems more powerful in a sense. But the way they drew these things, man, they were freaking cool as hell.
Yeah. The mechs were awesome. Like, and they even comment on it in the anime, right? Like, he's like, "Oh, this one's mouth looks cool," or this helmet looks awesome.
I know. I thought that was the funniest thing that the guy's like, "Where's your head, dude? This is your head." Looks up, and the head's like in the middle of the body of the guy who stole the mecha from. That's hilarious. And then, dude, like, I'll be honest, like well, at least what we found, I don't think this is even the final transformation, right? When they transform
to that there's more of a mech to put together, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like the Gurren Lagann, man. I think that was so cool. I was like, oh my god, yeah. They're like the guys like who they're fighting, that last dude. I didn't care for that last villain, but who they're fighting, that guy was like, he was so cocky himself too. But whenever they transformed all by their feelings, right? It's pretty much it reminds me a little bit of Gundam, right? I don't know if you remember Gundam. Like some of the Gundam mechs, they were controlled by feelings, I think, or something. It had emotion, something tied with it. But with this, it felt like it was strictly based off of emotion and what they thought they could turn to reality, right? And I feel like that's how these mechas worked. It's like, oh, we can do it. You're down this, we'll do it. And he
totally just pulls combining out of his ass.
He did.
He's just like, oh, we're gonna combine now, and he's like, what? We are? Like, how are we gonna do that?
It's like, what are we talking about? Come here, you're crazy. I find it hilarious where they grabs a guy with the drill, the Lagann with the drill, and stabs him in the head, and he almost kills himself because the drill almost goes through the body, the suit into his actual cabin he's in. It's like, what? He ends up killing himself just to try to perform this transformation that he thinks will happen.
Yeah,
Oh my
the
god.
action in it was crazy. I love the action.
Oh man.
So let's jump into. Do you have any negatives that you felt about the
Man.
show in the first three episodes?
Let's see. The negatives. I didn't like the. Okay, so we didn't really go into the I guess they're called pits, right? So I didn't like how they made the chief. Maybe it was part of it, but I did not care for the chief as much. Along with Kamina in the very beginning, I didn't like how they had the chief was so controlling, and he was wanting to put like anybody, I guess, almost defies him into jail, almost in a sense. It was a greater good for the community, or whatever, kind of sense. I didn't
It
care for
almost
that
got
as
to
much.
where, well, like I feel like because, and this is kind of part. This is my complaint, which is not
Hmm.
exactly what yours is, but related. Um, it just seemed like they just skipped over so much story.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So like in those three short
yeah,
episodes, everything happened so fast that it's just like the first episode is all about them getting to the surface.
yeah,
And so that seems like it's going to be a long journey or, something. And people even deny that the surface exists, at the beginning
yeah,
before they know that it doesn't
yeah.
or that it does. But like, so that's going on. And then you've got this chief who kind of seems like he's just trying to protect these people, but then also is kind of an asshole. So it's like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not really sure about this dude. Um, and then they burst out into the surface, and all of a sudden there's these things to fight. And she's
Hmm.
just like, "Oh, we just fight these things. We didn't like."
Yeah.
There's no explanation of who they
No.
are or where they came from or why they're fighting them or why people aren't on the surface. And like they get a little bit into there's other communities that are underground, but not really why or how they got there, if they've always been there. Like, have these things been roaming the planet,
Hmm.
forever and just killing anything that comes onto the surface? Or they're just predators, but they're humans in the
Yeah.
mechs, right? So like there's something going on. One guy refers to himself as a soldier. So the storyline just seems like it's all over the place. And
It
like
does.
maybe they're gonna, do like as it goes on, you're gonna learn more about that. I'm
Hmm.
assuming that you will, but it just didn't do a good job of gripping me and roping me in and thinking, okay, I need to watch another episode to see what's going on. Cause I'm just like, dude, there's already too much.
Yeah.
There's just too much going on for you to fill in the holes as you go.
Yeah. It does throw a lot at you. I think they did it to just kind of get feeling and continue the story on in the future, right? So they have something to build upon. I'm assuming.
Right.
I mean, that's what I
Yeah. And I
think. But yeah,
mean,
it's a
I
lot.
mean, it's got to get into it more. I'm assuming that it
Mm,
does, but it also seemed like it could have just been a precursor to be like, okay, these are just the givens. People used to be underground, now they're not, and we fight these things on the top.
yeah.
So I don't know,
Yeah.
but it didn't quite hook me to make me want to go. Okay, I need to keep watching more to find out.
Right. Right. Um. Yeah. It's just I don't. For me that was it was a huge issue because I also kind of enwrapped. I would say in the beginning it was kind of a long haul. Like the first episode was kind of like I said, it was kind of rough in a sense, just because you're introduced into what Simon does, who Kamina is, what their community was or is about, and they're only in this pit. I mean, you don't know how long they've been in this pit. I don't know. I don't remember how long if they even said right. It was a lot
Right.
kind of just trying to wrap your brain around. I'm kind of thinking about it right now. That is one thing I didn't like as much.
Yeah.
I
And I'm assuming it's been generations because there were even older people
Yeah,
in the community that were like, the surface doesn't really exist. Like, that's just a myth
right,
or whatever. And,
right,
but then, like, that's another thing, like, with him drilling, like, because that's his job is to drill, paths or whatever so they can expand the community.
hmm
And it's like, at one point, like when they go to jail and the guard comes in and he's like, "Oh, your job's very important. I know you were just going along with this guy, so you can go ahead and leave and keep doing your job. Why is that important? Like,
yeah,
what are the drills for? Why are we drilling? Like,
right. What's
what
the point?
exactly is going on here?
What's the point?
Like, we never completed the underground storyline before we got to the surface. And then there was one other thing that annoyed me, and it's dumb, but it annoyed me.
Hmm.
The first night that they had on the surface, everyone wasn't mesmerized at the stars. Like, I'm assuming if you grew up underground, you don't know anything about the surface other than
Hmm.
like stories that you've heard or whatever. When
Yeah,
you see the stars for the first time, you would be like, "Oh my God!" Especially
hmm,
like the way this guy looks in the anime.
yeah,
It was like, "Oh man, you'd be mesmerized."
right. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't. I mean, you would think that there would be more like you know in awe or was like, oh wow, there's a bigger place other than
Right.
just my
Then
pit.
again, they
They didn't
did
touch on that
immediately
much.
start getting their asses kicked when they got to the surface, so there wasn't a whole lot of time
That's
to take
true.
in the scenery, I guess.
That is true. But yeah, it was. I couldn't find anything as that much to it's annoyed me as much in this. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. The first episode, other than it was a long draw for me. Yeah, they're in a pit, trying to build up the story a little bit. It was rough, but whenever we get into the other episodes, like okay, yeah. So let's go into this then. The main question: would you continue? Will you continue?
I'm going like I think it's like I'm right on the fence on this one, but I'm gonna have to slip it right below the fence and say
Oh
no.
no!
I don't think I'm gonna continue it,
Gotcha.
but it's like at a 49 and a 50 would have pushed
50.
it over the edge.
Gotcha.
Right, so it's just right there. But it just didn't do a good enough job hooking me to make me want to see the rest of it. Now, I also feel like if I don't continue it, I'm gonna find out later that the storyline is really cool because eventually I'm gonna get tired of wondering and I'm gonna Google. And when I find out how cool it is, I'm gonna be like, shit, okay, I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Gotcha. The reason I was asking is it was like I know a lot of people talked about. A lot of people liked Gurren Lagann. Right now I'm gonna look for reviews and just out of curiosity because I'll go ahead and say that I'm gonna continue. I'm hooked already, dude. Like I love everything about it right now. Like the idea of the mechs. I love how how everything is kind of based off of their energy, of how they feel, of how powerful the mechs will get. I love that. It kind of reminds me of Gohan. The reason why I like Gohan so much when I was watching Dragon Ball Z, right? Yeah. Like their mechs are powered by their feelings, of their emotion. At least that's how it showed with Lagann. When Gurenn, you could kind of see a little bit of it, but whenever it happened, they're all feeling the same thing. And Gurenn and Lagann, the mechas, they fused together, which created the Gurren Lagann, right? So that's kind of like I really like that piece of it, and I like the story of how I like the character the progression of Simon. You kind of saw a little bit of it in the first 3 episodes, right? So I could just say this too: that we're watching all every episode we do will continue. It's gonna be 3 episodes. Before it was 1 episode, we changed it to 3 episodes, which gives us kind of a little more of an idea of the story, if we would actually continue or not versus the first. But with the whole the character progression with Simon, the reason why I said this because Simon, I felt like he progressed within the 3 episodes. He became this little shy boy, he didn't want to do anything. He timid boy, and then he actually fought a little bit because he was forced to. And then the second one, he kind of chilled back, laid back a little bit more. And by the 3rd one, he gets ramped up by the end of the 3rd episode. It's like, and he sort of reminded Gohan how he acted, how he just got, just so pumped in his mech, and they were able to transform. Just all of it, it got me hyped. And how they're going to kind of search for, I forget what I think it was the Kamina, or it's checking out the enemy's hub because they're trying to get advanced armor or something like that. I can't remember right now, but I was so hooked on that story. Like, I'm good. I'm golden. I'm going to continue. That's
See, I'm
good. Got me
excited. I'm
hyped.
excited that you are because then you can tell me whether whether I need to reconsider.
Rely on me. I see. So just to let you know, out of the review. So just to let you know. And now, this is strictly, not everybody's going to believe that it being the same thing. But out of the reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, 100%.
No kidding. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
MyAnimeList.net, 8.6 out of 10. IMDb, 8.3. So.
Ugh. Now I really do feel like I need to watch it. Like something.
This is not to change your mind, man. I'm just telling you that because I'm something I might do at the end of how we feel, but if we're going to continue or not. But it's just it's interesting because I also kind of got this idea from another podcast I'll listen to, Anime Anonymous, which is a great crew. I interviewed them on the show, and they actually did a Will Continue episode on here. On the channel and on the podcast, but they kind of do the ratings at the end, kind of compare. Ace does it usually, but when the person so it's on that podcast is Ace, Jess, and CJ. But anywho, they're great podcasts. Go catch them, guys. Anywho, but yeah, so this is. It doesn't. This isn't going to be based on everybody, but for a lot of people, this is a fairly good anime. I was hoping to get you hooked on this, man. That's what I was like. I didn't check the reviews, but I'll search some anime website. What's a good, best
such
anime?
an evil critic, man. I'm like the worst critic ever.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're critical. That's what we need in this role, man. But yeah, I mean, this is contrast of you and me.
Right, right. And like I love that we have the whole like someone who loves anime and watches a lot of it, and then like I don't like I watch I'll watch what we're talking about for every two couple of weeks. I'll watch whatever we're talking about, and every once in a while I'll find something that I'm like, okay, I want to check this out. Like I think the last one was Assassination Classroom, and I
Oh
loved
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Assassination Classroom was awesome.
Awesome.
So there are definitely ones that I like, but I'm just not. I'm not a huge like anime dude. I don't know, but I want to be. That's why I'm here. I'm like, teach me your ways.
I'm your senpai.
Yeah, I'm not nerdy enough, man. We got to get some more nerd in here. I'm not
Man.
doing enough nerd stuff.
Hey, so I actually didn't talk about this before, since this was actually my pick. We were kind of tossing around, I think, the ideas, right? What we're gonna watch, right? So since this was my pick, do you have anything? You don't have to state it at all on this, but do you have an idea what you want to watch next?
Where are we at? So I think by the next time Trigun,
Try that.
are they doing episode by episode, or are they releasing a whole season? Do we
I would
know?
assume they would be doing it episodically.
Okay, so we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait a little bit for Trigun. Didn't know. Like I'm not sure. I
Okay,
think
that's fine.
there've been a couple of things that people have told me about recently, but I'd have to consult the list, the never ending list
Yeah.
in my phone to figure out what it is. But we'll find something for sure.
No worries. And I'll probably post that if we do, whenever we do decide, I'll post that on social medias for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Let's go ahead and plan a date now. So if we've got like what is today's date? Like the 28th, 29th?
Yeah, 29th.
Like that. So we'll round up. We'll round up to the first. So we'll say somewhere around the first week of January before the end of next week. We'll come up with the show that we're gonna do for the next.
That works. So yeah, if anybody follows me or Sarcastic Gender, which is on Twitch, I'm the go same thing as HMG Geekdom all across Twitter, use Twitch and YouTube. Also on TikTok, I probably need a TikTok on here. But anywho, yeah, that's where you can find me. Ginger Bear, it's Sarcastic Ginger Bear on Twitch. So
Yes, I banned the social medias from myself, but I'm working on it. I started a Instagram page, but I haven't got everything set up on it yet. So I know, right? Insta, that's what the kids call it. And hit my Insta.
and
So yeah, well,
Gotcha.
I'll get there. I'll get there one day.
it's all good, man. It's baby steps, baby steps. But hey, that concludes our Will I Continue. Thank you, Ginger Bear, for getting back on here and continue on with this. I was so excited when you said you were wanting to do it again, man. You brought tears to my eyes of joy and, just a big smile on my face.
Lovely ginger beer. It's lovely ginger beer.
Lovely Ginger Bear. Dude, I'm going to change it. Lovely Ginger Bear for next episode. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening to us and hope everybody has a great day, great morning, or good evening. All right. Bye, guys.
Cheers.